Hello and welcome back to Billy Ho Sports. Boy, it was a hell of a weekend at Saratoga. Today we're going to look back on the weekend's events, talk about what's down the road. I also have a special segment dedicated to the Matt Winn Stakes, which was at Churchill Downs. I was in the house for on the rail and watched that one, so we'll go over that race as well. That race actually turned out to be a pretty significant stepping stone for some summer racing, so pretty important stuff. And just a real quick big thanks to everybody who's commenting on the recent videos. I really do appreciate the support. It's going a long way to help the channel grow. We're going to continue to do split the pot contests throughout the summer. Hopefully some bigger and better things for Breeders' Cup weekend at Del Mar in the fall. So if you are new to the channel and you don't know what the split the pot contest is, it works like this. All the commenters to the recent videos for a specific event will go into the big wheel for a draw. The winner, we spin the wheel for the prize. The winner will get a $20 bet on me for race day. If we win, we split the pot. Simple enough. But to be eligible, you must be a subscriber. So you have to subscribe to the channel first. You click that like button. Always be clicking that like button. That really helps out a lot. And when you do leave your comment, use the hashtag BHS. So we do have some upcoming split the pot draws, like for a couple weeks away. The Ohio Derby is June 21st. We'll do one for that at Thistledown in up toward Cleveland, Ohio. Get our Ohio viewers involved. And Stephen Foster Day at the end of the month at Churchill Downs. June 28th is going to be a monster day. We might do multiple contests for that. So jumping right into things, we're going to do the quick recap of the Matt Winn first. I saw it in person. Disappointed that 3 of the 7 horses scratched out because one of the most important, we were left with 4 horses, which I hate. Honestly, I couldn't decide on a winner, but the main thing was the scratching of Gaming, who was probably the lone speed to pressure East Avenue on the front. So without him in the field, it was up to Cole Battle to provide the pressure. Burnham Square to an extent, but we knew Final Gambit was going to be well back, and I knew that really diminished Final Gambit's promises of running them down. And when I saw Cole Battle at 6-1, I had to take a shot. That was just too good to pass up. I knew he had a chance to win if things went right, but when East Avenue got out to a very easy 24-2 opening quarter, it was really his race to lose after that. Cole Battle did apply pressure after that, but it was just too much horse left or too much gas in the tank, so to speak, down the stretch when they hit it. Cole Battle engaged and ran his heart out, I thought, but just wasn't enough. Burnham Square actually made a really good move to the rail, but credit Luis Saez on East Avenue, but he didn't really cut him off, but he kept that rail pretty tight and didn't allow Burnham Square much breathing room to try to squeeze by him. So that kept him at bay. So speaking of a bay, he is a big old bay coat. He looks like the Black Stallion in person. He's a really awesome looking horse. East Avenue, that is. I did take some video and some things of that nature. I think down the road for these, probably the Indiana Derby, maybe next month for 1 or 2 of them. Probably I'd say the 3 like Chunk of Gold and Gaming, those horses would probably point to that. That's going to be at the Horseshoe at Indianapolis next month. So good one on that. Fun race to watch, though, even though it was only 4 horses. But going back over to the weekend at Belmont at Saratoga, rough day Friday with the rain coming in midday like that, and the track drastically going sloppy in a hurry. I couldn't get anything right that day. I mean, when you see horses like Raging Sea and Good Cheer that couldn't mount any kind of rally, I knew I was in trouble. The Raging Sea fell so far back, he was barely even in camera range. I don't know what Flavian Pratt was thinking that he was going to be able to mount any kind of rally getting that far back. And Pratt, I've kind of had been suspicious of him here recently, just not being at his best. But he did have 5 wins over the weekend between Friday and Saturday. But he was 0 for 7 on Sunday at Churchill Downs. Good Cheer's another one, a horse who looked unbeatable a month ago and was just spinning her wheels around the turn, and she had nothing when they hit the stretch drive. So, anyway, Saturday was a much better day. Conditions improved. Saratoga did some things right, but they also dropped the ball, so to speak. So the turf was the question. They moved the Wonder again and the Pennine Ridge off the turf. They moved all the races off the turf, but then later on they canceled two races, and we'll get to those in a minute. So stick around for that. But it left a three-horse field in the Wonder again, which was awful. And then they scratched the top 3 year old turfer in Zulu Kingdom out of the Pennine Ridge. So it was really just kind of a bummer. But they did wisely postpone those two late turf races, the Jaipur and the Manhattan, pushed them up to Sunday. And that gave him an extra window of time to get the track harrowed over and turned over and dried out for the Belmont. So that worked out really, really well. But Saturday, I definitely had a better feel for what was going on. I had 7 out of 9 races, I bet. Patch Adams was a big hit in the Woody Stevens. I know he ended up going off as a 3-1 favorite, but he was like the co-second choice, I guess. But it was a real spread out race. He made a perfect stalking trip, powered past Matticat Road for the win. For what it's worth, Matticat Road ran another strong one-turn race, so he's still one to be messed with down the road in those types of races. Looking forward to a. I don't think he's a Breeders' Cup Sprint horse, but he would go a mile. He would probably do the dirt mile, or he might do a 7 furlong. But the coup de grace had to be the Belmont Stakes. It was so impressive. I first saw Sovereignty at Churchill Downs decimate the field in the street since last fall. Horses like Tistastic and Sandman both were in that race, and so I backed him in the Kentucky Derby. Felt like the logical move to me after the Florida Derby, and hearing how Bill Mott didn't have him fully cranked. He looked as just everything seemed to point to him set up perfectly. Obviously, I still like Journalism, who could have won either races if he would have had the right moves at the right times. So I used him both in the Derby and the Belmont the same way. I keyed him on top. Then I bet Sovereignty to win. So it worked out swimmingly. Sovereignty gets it done. I didn't think Rodriguez was going to be fit enough to endure the distance, so I threw him out. I thought Crudo was a bit of a wild card, early speed horse that maybe if he was ready, he could shake loose on the lead and maybe pull a wire job. But he did his job though. He put enough pressure on the lead to make it an honest pace before he faded away. And then Junior Alvarado, you can't beat the ride he gave out of the 2 slot. He gets right to the rail, saves ground all the way, and all he's doing is looking next to him at Rispoli aboard Journalism, waiting on him. As soon as he makes his move, I'm following him, just like I did in the Kentucky Derby. So all he had to do after that was file in behind him and blow his doors off down the stretch. And visually different than the Derby, obviously, with the track condition being different. But Sovereignty churning up dirt down the stretch looked powerful, determined, and this time leaving no doubt on the table who the better horse was. So, also, Baeza did run his plot home for third again. He was a toss for me in the race because I just didn't think lightly raced horses, and like Crudo, I was taking a shot on, but him, I just didn't think he was the fit for the win. But once again, he did hit the board. So differently, he closed really, really hard and almost caught Journalism in the Derby. But both of those horses he was losing ground to coming home, especially Sovereignty. Sovereignty was pulling away from his close. It was really just a testament to those two horses and how damn good they are. We should see those two duel once again or twice again down the road. Hopefully at Travers. I know Bill Mott's already indicated he's never won Travers. He's likely looking there to take Sovereignty home. And don't think the hits just stop there because we go to Sunday. And after I got home from Churchill Downs, which I didn't fare so well on a couple of races, I bet there, but maybe sometimes the two different tracks, my capping gets confused. But I don't really know. I mean, I was pretty close on some winners. I had a second place horse. But other than that, I decided to go ahead and bet the two turf races. They got moved because I had already handicapped them from Saturday. So I was really high on AG Bullet in the Jaipur, And just to see that mare get it done, the only female horse in the race, was awesome. She was really the good looking gray horse, got it done. I was really stoked to keep the favorite Think Big off the board because my two underneath uses were the four My Boy Prince and the eight Allegon, and both of those filled in the trifecta really, really close. The five horse almost got in there and messed it all up, but it was a 50-cent try that paid $100. You can't beat that. So I definitely got right over the weekend, and the Manhattan was integration. I really thought integration is going to crush this field, and it didn't occur to me that deterministic would get loose on the lead like that. But he certainly did. A hell of a good horse who's definitely becoming a force to reckon with on the grass. But it didn't look like the two was even going to hit the board around the turn, and then all of a sudden he just exploded up the middle, or exploded up the rail, and then moved outside. But midway through the close, he seemed to have a little bit of footing trouble, but once he caught his foot, he almost got there, fell a neck short of deterministic, which would have really made a lot big icing on top of that big old cake. But that said, it was a kick-ass weekend. I hope you did well as well. Remember, we're doing this year-round at Billy Ho Sports, so stay engaged. I'm going to have probably some stakes racing, Churchill Downs most likely later in the week. But next week is going to be the Ohio Derby, which is the big race up there I mentioned earlier in the video. Then obviously we're closing out Stephen Foster Day toward the end of the meet at Churchill Downs. But then you get into July and August, you got the Jim Dandy, the Travers, the Haskell, and then obviously we got racing out west with Santa Anita and Del Mar, some big Breeders' Cup Challenge races coming around. So my point to all this is stick around because there's plenty of content coming your way. I appreciate you joining me. We'll see you soon.